Hi and welcome to this episode of Parents Leading Change TV, where we support you to live your family life on purpose. Today's episode is about how the mind chatter, all that noise in your mind, disconnects you from your children and what you can do about it. To today's episode. Well, mind chatter. We all have mind chatter, and what we don't often realise is that this mind chatter runs us in a way that we are not always aware of. And that's what the episode today is about, is what is that mind chatter and how does it disconnect us from our children? Well, if you think about it, when we have stuff that's going on through our mind, we're actually just not in the present moment. And so when we're connecting with our children, ideally we want to be in the moment with them. Otherwise it's really, really difficult to hear what their words are saying, what they really think about what their needs might be, and really be able to respond in the moment. So what we're going to talk about today is the useful noise that we have in our minds and the unuseful noise. So the useful noise that we have in our mind are things like thinking about the future so that we can prepare for dinner, or we can prepare for parties, or we can prepare to have their school uniform ready. And then the unuseful noise, where we are thinking about how our child compares to another child, or how what's happening with our child is actually about us and not about them, and how, for example, when they have a tantrum, is the tantrum about you, or is it them embarrassing you, or is it about them experiencing emotions? So really noticing some of the unuseful noise that we have in our minds. When we decipher between the two of useful and unuseful noise, we're actually going through a process of auditing our minds. And when we are really able to do this effectively and audit effectively, we get choice over the things that are running our minds. So an example, yesterday I was at my son's school presentation, and he was receiving an award for academic excellence, which we didn't know prior to the awards ceremony. And so there was a segment where his class were offered their awards, and we thought, oh, this is it, he's going up on stage. So we got up and we were ready with the camera and really getting ready to cheer him on, and they called two people out, neither of which was my son. And so we were wondering, what's going on here? And in the past, what would have happened in that moment for me is, God, what if we've got it wrong? What if he's not getting something? What if he's been told something and he hasn't actually received an award at all? And this is all a big mistake. And how's he going to feel? And how am I going to feel? And gosh, that was embarrassing, standing up whilst I was, getting ready to cheer him on, and then he didn't come, and then I had to sit back down again. And so all that mind chatter that used to happen was unuseful. And what I was able to do in the moment yesterday, and I'm going to explain how I did this, was really just to be able to calm that mind chatter down, nip it in the bud, and just allow what was occurring to occur. And so what happened was he then received his award a few minutes later, but in those few minutes there wasn't a big tirade that was going through my mind that was making me feel anxious and stressed out. So how did I do that? Well, there's a really fundamental principle, and it's simply this, it is what it is. And to just let go, because you can't change the situation in that moment. I couldn't change that he wasn't one of those children in the class. I didn't know that there were other awards to come. I simply just don't know what I don't know. So really being able to accept what's happening in the moment and saying it's okay not to know, let's see what happens, is the skill that I use. So how does this disconnect us from our child? Well, if we think about it, if our mind's going off and all of this stuff's going on, we're not actually able to feel calm in ourselves. We feel anxious and stressed instead, and therefore we're not able to really connect with our child in the way that we want to. That's the whole purpose of Hoogie, and the whole purpose of Parents Leading Change is that we become aware of what goes on in our minds and really audit and harness what we need and what we don't need. That's it from me today. I wish you well and look forward to seeing you next time.